Imagine being punished for doing your job by being forced to work on a movie that would become a cultural phenomenon. That's precisely what happened at DreamWorks Animation back in the late 90s. The story of how Shrek, now a beloved classic, was once considered the Siberia of animation is a wild ride. But here's where it gets controversial. Was this a case of management misjudgment, or did it reveal a deeper bias against certain types of animation? Before the Green Ogre conquered the world, DreamWorks was a studio eager to make a splash. After Mimi Leder's action thriller The Peacemaker kicked things off in 1997, DreamWorks quickly followed up with a diverse slate of films, including Steven Spielberg's serious drama Amistad and Gore Verbinski's quirky family film Mouse Hunt, all within the same year. The studio was clearly ambitious. In 1998, they began to seriously compete in the animation space, releasing Ants and The Prince of Egypt to varying degrees of success. The year 2000 saw the release of The Road to El Dorado and the critically acclaimed Chicken Run, produced by Aardman Animations. Then came 2001, and everything changed. DreamWorks unleashed Shrek, a deliberately irreverent and satirical take on fairy tales, based on William Steig's book. Audiences couldn't get enough of its playful jabs at Disney and traditional storytelling. Shrek became a box office behemoth, launching a franchise that continues to thrive. A whole generation has grown up with Shrek and his swampy shenanigans, and the original movie and its sequels are now considered modern animated classics. The film's success was so profound that even Disney started incorporating similar satirical elements into their own films, with movies like Frozen echoing the anti-Disney sentiment that Shrek had pioneered. But no one, absolutely no one, anticipated the scale of Shrek's success. According to Nicole Laporte's book, The Men Who Would Be King, an almost epic tale of moguls, movies, and a company called DreamWorks. A fascinating read for anyone interested in the inner workings of Hollywood. Shrek was initially seen as a form of punishment within the studio. Yes, you read that right. The prestige project at the time was The Prince of Egypt, a grand, sweeping musical retelling of the Book of Exodus. And this is the part most people miss. The perceived prestige of a project often dictates how employees are treated, regardless of its actual potential. So if an animator made a mistake or wasn't performing well on The Prince of Egypt, they would be reassigned to the Shrek production. The irony, of course, is that Shrek went on to make significantly more money and have a far greater cultural impact than The Prince of Egypt ever did. Talk about a plot twist! The Prince of Egypt was an ambitious undertaking. It was a full-fledged musical with an all-star voice cast, including Val Kilmer as Moses, Ralph Fiennes as Ramesses, and supported by Michelle Pfeiffer, Patrick Stewart, Helen Mirren, Jeff Goldblum, Sandra Bullock, Danny Glover, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. Gathering such a stellar cast for an animated film was relatively rare at the time. The Prince of Egypt was intended to be a high-profile prestige picture, a direct challenge to Disney's dominance in the animation market during what was known as the Disney Renaissance. A tremendous amount of effort and resources were poured into the film, and it received 2 Oscar nominations, winning for Best Original Song. This was before the Best Animated Feature Oscar category existed. Otherwise, it likely would have been a strong contender for that award as well. Shrek, on the other hand, was viewed as a silly, irreverent comedy about an ogre. While it also boasted a talented voice cast, Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, John Lithgow, and Cameron Diaz, it was considered the lesser film. An animator who chose to remain anonymous told Laporte that Shrek was used as a punitive measure. It was known as the Gulag. If you failed on Prince of Egypt, you were sent to the dungeons to work on Shrek. It seemed that no one wanted to be Shreked. It should also be remembered that the initial vision for Shrek was far more grotesque and unappealing than the final product. Like Steig's book, Shrek was intended to be the grossest creature imaginable. He was supposed to marry the second grossest creature, and they would have revolting offspring. No one wanted to work on a movie like that. Additionally, because it was a computer-animated film, many traditional animators felt it was beneath them, considering it a less artistic and more technical endeavor. As the New York Post noted in 2010, even the cleaned-up version of Shrek was considered too gross for some DreamWorks animators. The titular character was, after all, an ogre who lived in a swamp and enjoyed bathing in mud. In the film's opening scene, Shrek emerges from an outhouse and then wades into a swamp where he confidently breaks wind, killing the nearby fish. While it seems tame in retrospect, the idea of a major studio release opening with poop and fart jokes was a significant risk at the time. Co-director Vicky Jensen recalled feeling anxious during Shrek's premiere at Cannes. Here we are, sitting in tuxedos and evening gowns, wearing borrowed jewels, and everyone's watching Shrek take a poot in the water. Even DreamWorks co-founder Jeffrey Katzenberg, who also headed the animation department at the time, remembered bracing himself for walkouts and outrage at the premiere. For the first 10 minutes, nothing. My heart was thumping. My forehead was breaking out in a sweat. I said to myself, they're going to burn the place down. Instead, Shrek became DreamWorks' biggest hit. A sequel was quickly greenlit, and Shrek 2, released in 2004, became the highest-grossing film worldwide that year. The franchise also spawned spin-off films centered on Antonio Banderas' popular character from Shrek 2, Puss in Boots, as well as a successful Broadway musical. Shrek has also appeared in at least 12 video games and various amusement park attractions. Despite being conceived as the grossest creature alive, Shrek has evolved into a family-friendly, smiling, and beloved character. He may have farted in a bog, but that turned out to be a stroke of genius. So, what do you think? Was DreamWorks right to prioritize the Prince of Egypt initially? Did the studio underestimate the appeal of irreverent humor and CGI animation? And does this story highlight a common problem in the entertainment industry? The tendency to overlook projects that don't fit the traditional mold of prestige entertainment? Share your thoughts in the comments below.